Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most important SUVs of the 2000s, the first generation Audi Q7, 2005 to 2015. This was the SUV that marked Audi's bold entry into the luxury SUV world, a car that reshaped the brand's image and proved that Ingolstadt could compete head-to-head with Mercedes and BMW in one of the toughest automotive segments. When Audi introduced the Q7 in late 2005, it was more than just a new model, it marked the brand's decisive entry into the SUV world. Until then, Audi had built its reputation on sedans, wagons, and performance-oriented quattro models, but the luxury SUV market was booming, especially in North America. Audi needed a contender, and the Q7 was the answer. The project had been in development since the early 2000s, and although it shared its PL71 platform with the Volkswagen Touareg and the Porsche Cayenne, Audi gave the Q7 a completely different identity. The design was overseen by Walter de Silva and Satoshi Wada, who created a vehicle that looked larger, more elegant, and more family-oriented than its sportier Porsche cousin. With a length of over 5 meters, it was a true full-size SUV, longer than both the Touareg and Cayenne, and clearly aimed at the American market. Production took place at Volkswagen's plant in Bratislava, Slovakia, and the model was sold globally from 2006 until 2015. The Q7's appearance was immediately recognizable, a tall and muscular stance, Audi's new single-frame grille dominating the front, and a silhouette that blended utility with premium design. Unlike the Cayenne, which leaned toward aggressive sportiness, the Q7 was marketed as a refined luxury family SUV, with optional seating for 7 passengers. But Audi's move into this new territory did not go unanswered. Just months later, Mercedes-Benz launched the GL Class, a full-size SUV aimed at the same audience. Compared to the Q7, the GL was more focused on comfort and ride softness, staying closer to the luxury limousine on stilts formula. The Audi, by contrast, carried a sportier character, its chassis tuning and quattro system delivered a more dynamic drive, even if it could not quite match the plush comfort of the Mercedes. This counteroffensive from Stuttgart highlighted just how seriously the German premium brands were taking the SUV segment, with the Q7 being the model that pushed Audi into direct competition with its longtime rivals. The first-generation Audi Q7 was designed as a true full-size SUV, and its proportions made that clear from the start. At more than 5 meters in length, it was noticeably longer than the Porsche Cayenne and Volkswagen Touareg with which it shared its platform, and this extra size allowed Audi to configure the Q7 as a genuine family-oriented vehicle. One of its key selling points was the availability of a third row of seats. While not the most spacious for adults, it allowed the Q7 to carry up to 7 passengers, which immediately placed it in the same category as larger American SUVs. This was a crucial detail because the North American market was a primary target for Audi when developing the Q7. In Europe, buyers appreciated the versatility, but in the US the 7-seat layout became an essential feature to attract families. The body itself blended rugged SUV cues with Audi's new design language of the mid-2000s. The single-frame grille gave the Q7 a bold face, while the wide stance and flared wheel arches emphasized its presence on the road. Despite its imposing size, the design team made an effort to retain a certain elegance, which distinguished it from more utilitarian SUVs. To further enhance its appeal, Audi offered the S-Line package, which gave the Q7 a sportier character through unique bumpers, larger wheels, and subtle exterior details, as well as upgraded interior trims with sport seats and exclusive materials. This package quickly became popular among buyers who wanted their SUV to look more dynamic without sacrificing comfort. For those seeking even more exclusivity, Audi introduced the Audi Exclusive program, which allowed customers to tailor their Q7 to a remarkable degree. Special leathers, rare wood trims, and unique color combinations elevated the interior far beyond standard configurations. In many ways, Audi Exclusive stood as Ingolstadt's answer to Mercedes-Benz's Designo line, transforming what could have been a regular premium SUV into a truly distinctive and highly personalized luxury vehicle. From the beginning, Audi wanted the Q7 to showcase both versatility and technological ambition, and nowhere was this more evident than under the hood. Buyers could choose from a wide range of engines, starting with practical V6 units and climbing all the way to some of the most powerful engines ever fitted to an SUV of that era. On the gasoline side, the lineup began with the 3.6-litre V6 FSI, producing around 280 horsepower and 360 Nm of torque, good for a 0 to 100 km/h sprint in about 8.5 seconds. Above it sat the 4.2-litre V8 FSI, delivering 350 horsepower and 440 Nm, which pushed the big SUV to 100 km/h in around 7.4 seconds. Later in the model's life, Audi also introduced the 3-litre supercharged V6 TFSI, rated at 333 horsepower and 440 Nm, providing a strong balance of performance and efficiency with a 0 to 100 time of about 6.9 seconds. For markets where diesel engines dominated, Audi offered the highly popular 3-litre TDI V6, initially producing 233 horsepower and 500 Nm, with acceleration to 100 km/h in 9.1 seconds. Later versions grew more powerful, reaching up to 245 horsepower and 550 Nm, cutting the sprint to 8.1 seconds. Above it sat the 4.2 TDI V8, a torque-rich unit with 326 horsepower and 760 Nm, which could move the heavy Q7 from 0 to 100 km/h in just 6.4 seconds. These diesels, all equipped with diesel particulate filters (DPF) to meet tightening emissions regulations, became the backbone of Q7 sales in Europe, where fuel efficiency and long-distance capability mattered most. But the real showpiece, the engine that put the Q7 in the automotive history books, was the 6-litre V12 TDI. Introduced in 2008, it was the world's first 12-cylinder diesel engine ever fitted to a production passenger car. With 500 horsepower and a monumental 1,000 Nm of torque, it could accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in just 5.5 seconds despite the SUV's size and weight. Even more remarkable, this powerhouse was directly inspired by Audi's Le Mans-winning R10 TDI race car, which brought diesel performance into the spotlight of endurance racing. All versions of the Q7 came with Audi's Quattro permanent all-wheel drive system and an automatic transmission as standard. For most of its life cycle, this meant a 6-speed Tiptronic gearbox, smooth and durable, well matched to both diesel and gasoline engines. In the later years, especially after the facelift, certain models received an 8-speed Tiptronic, which improved fuel efficiency and refinement. Combined with the wide torque curve of the engines, these gearboxes allowed the Q7 to feel both effortless in daily driving and confident under heavy loads. This consistency across the lineup reinforced the Q7's dual personality. It could be a sensible family SUV, a luxurious long-distance cruiser, or, in V12 form, one of the most extreme performance SUVs of its era. Beyond its size and range of engines, the first-generation Audi Q7 stood out for the technology it brought into the SUV segment. Right from the start, Audi wanted the Q7 to be seen not only as a family hauler, but also as a showcase for the brand's latest innovations. One of the most impressive features was the adaptive air suspension, which could raise or lower the vehicle depending on the driving situation. At highway speeds, the suspension automatically dropped the ride height for better aerodynamics and stability, while off-road it could lift the car to clear rough terrain. This gave the Q7 a flexibility that few luxury SUVs could match at the time, allowing it to feel equally at home on the Autobahn, in the city, or on a dirt road. Inside, the Q7 was fitted with Audi's MMI multimedia interface, the same infotainment system that had just debuted on the flagship A8. With a central screen and rotary controller, MMI brought a new level of control over navigation, audio, and vehicle settings. For mid-2000 standards, this was cutting-edge technology, and it helped position the Q7 as a truly premium product. Audi also pushed forward in terms of driver assistance and safety. The Q7 could be equipped with adaptive cruise control, which maintained a safe distance to the car ahead, as well as side assist, Audi's early version of blind spot monitoring. In an era when these systems were still rare, they made the Q7 feel like a car from the future. Another important addition was the rear-view camera, a feature that today seems ordinary but at the time was groundbreaking. Given the Q7's size and limited rear visibility, the reversing camera was a major help, and together with parking sensors, it made maneuvering the big SUV much easier. For many buyers, this was their very first experience with camera-assisted parking. A small innovation that quickly became an industry standard. Luxury and comfort were also at the forefront. Buyers could specify heated and ventilated seats, 4-zone climate control, a Bang & Olufsen premium audio system, as well as a large panoramic glass roof. Uniquely, Audi even offered a rear panoramic sunroof for passengers in the second row, enhancing the sense of space and light throughout the cabin. Combined with the personalization options of the S-Line and Audi exclusive packages, the Q7 could be tailored to a level of sophistication that rivaled, and sometimes even surpassed, Mercedes-Benz and BMW. The 2009 facelift brought important visual upgrades. Audi introduced LED daytime running lights in the headlights and redesigned LED taillights, giving the Q7 a much fresher and more modern look. These details, subtle as they may seem, helped the SUV remain competitive against newer rivals. Later, in 2012, Audi updated the interior as well. The instrument cluster received new graphics, and a decorative trim strip was added on the passenger side of the dashboard, aligning the Q7's cabin with the design direction of the newer A6 and A7. The steering wheels and gear selectors were also updated, sharing the new family look introduced across the Audi lineup. These refinements kept the Q7 feeling current even towards the end of its long production cycle. While the Audi Q7 quickly established itself as a technological and luxury benchmark, owning one was not without its challenges. Like many complex premium SUVs of the mid-2000s, the first-generation Q7 demanded proper care and came with some well-known weak points. The most obvious issue was its weight. Even by luxury SUV standards, the Q7 was heavy, tipping the scales at well over 2.3 tons. This affected not only fuel consumption but also placed extra stress on brakes, suspension components, and tires, all of which tended to wear faster than on lighter vehicles. For diesel models, especially the popular 3.0 TDI, the combination of EGR valves and diesel particulate filters, DPF, could lead to expensive repairs over time. Frequent short-distance driving often caused clogging, forcing owners to carry out costly replacements or cleanings. The 4.2 TDI, while extremely powerful, was notorious for high maintenance bills, particularly when turbochargers or injection systems developed issues. On the gasoline side, the 4.2 FSI V8 had a reputation for high oil consumption and, in some cases, carbon buildup in the intake system, common problems for direct injection engines of that era. These issues didn't affect performance immediately but could become costly to address. The automatic Tiptronic gearbox was generally durable, but with such a heavy vehicle and high torque outputs, neglecting fluid changes often led to rough shifting or premature wear. Audi marketed the gearbox as sealed for life, but in reality, regular servicing was crucial to longevity. Electronics were another source of complaints. With so many luxury features packed into the Q7, from adaptive suspension to MMI and advanced driver aids, it wasn't unusual for owners to face occasional glitches, warning lights, or sensor failures. While most problems were fixable, they added to the perception that the Q7 required above-average upkeep. Finally, there was the matter of running costs. Fuel economy was rarely flattering, even for the diesels, and insurance and servicing were expensive compared to more modest SUVs. Still, most owners accepted these costs as the price of entry into Audi's world of luxury and technology. For those who maintained their cars diligently, the Q7 remained reliable enough and delivered an ownership experience that was hard to match. But for buyers expecting low-cost maintenance, the reality of such a sophisticated vehicle often came as a surprise. The first-generation Audi Q7 was more than just a new model, it was a declaration of intent. For the very first time, Audi stepped into the full-size SUV arena, a territory previously dominated by Mercedes-Benz with the M-Class and later the GL, as well as BMW with the X5. What the Q7 brought to the table was a uniquely Audi interpretation of the luxury SUV, sportier than a Mercedes GL, more versatile than a BMW X5, and packed with technology that set it apart from both. Its bold design, wide range of engines, from efficient diesels to the legendary V12 TDI, and its cutting-edge features made it an instant success, particularly in the United States where buyers welcomed Audi's newcomer with enthusiasm. In Europe, the diesels became a common sight on highways, cementing the Q7's reputation as both a status symbol and a practical long-distance machine. Of course, it wasn't perfect. Its sheer size and weight made it thirsty and expensive to maintain, while complex electronics sometimes caused headaches for owners. Yet despite these drawbacks, the Q7 delivered something that few cars of its time could, a blend of luxury, space, technology, and performance in one package. By the time its long production run ended in 2015, the Q7 had not only proven that Audi could compete in the SUV segment, it had become one of the pillars of the brand. The lessons learned from this model directly shaped Audi's SUV strategy, leading to smaller models like the Q5 and Q3, as well as the more refined second-generation Q7. Looking back, the first-generation Q7 can be seen as a turning point. It marked Audi's rise from being primarily a maker of executive sedans and wagons to a full-range premium brand capable of challenging its German rivals on every front. For many enthusiasts, it remains one of the most charismatic Audis of the modern era. A car that dared to be bold, and in doing so, changed the brand forever. That was the story of the first-generation Audi Q7, 2005 to 2015, a car that changed the game for Audi and left a lasting mark on the SUV market. What do you think about it? Would you pick a first-generation Q7 over its rivals from Mercedes or BMW? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more classic car stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. See you in the next one.